2, go.
Hey guys, what's going on? So we did play a session yesterday. We didn't have time to upload our videos right away because I had to run to work. But I did have one interesting hand, and I really do like the way I played it because I put some thought into it. I have been an aggressive player all day, racing between 12 and 17, and it just wasn't working out. I was winning very small parts, and for the most part, I was down a little bit. And then I got involved in one really good hand. So in the hijack position, I looked down at pocket aces. The table had limped in. It was an active table, so people limped in. Somebody raised, a lot of people called. I raised the 14. There were 2 limpers ahead of me. The button, who's a tight, smart, young Asian kid, re-raised me to 35. I instantly put him on kings or queens. He hadn't re-raised all day. Even with us being super aggressive, he would normally just call. That made me so excited because I thought this is a hand I could possibly double up in. So here's what happened. I'm sitting there after he goes to 35, and I'm thinking, what is the best play here? You know, we probably have somewhere between 2 and 250 in our stacks, and I'm like, I want to get all this money. So I thought about min raising, but I just don't like that play. Min raise looks too strong, and it allows him to call with too weak of a hand if he ever was making a play. So from 35, I decided I'm going to 80. So I went and I re-raised to $80, thinking there's no way in the world he's ever folding kings or queens for $45 more. But he's also never just calling another $45 with kings or queens. The hand's just too good. He's gonna sit there and he's like, well, I can put 45 in. It just seems like not the thing to do. If you have kings, that's when he's coming over the top. I hopefully double up pre-flop. I at least get in at an 82-18 favorite pre-flop. Well, he didn't re-raise after thinking he did just call. So now there's somewhere in the ballpark of about $170 in the pot with our 80 each plus the blinds and the people that limped in minus the rake. So the flop comes out jack high, perfect flop. The only hand I'm even slightly worried about is pocket jacks. If he has that on a 1-2 game for $250, he's getting the rest of my money once I went to 80 pre-flop. So now I have to think, what is the proper bet? Okay, I want to make a bet that he 100% cannot fold to. Like I said, I hope he has kings, I hope he has queens. I want to hear him say all in. So I decided I'm going to do the exact same bet I did pre-flop, which was $80. Really thought that was the best play. All of a sudden...
And before you actually go on with the story, can I ask you why you went to 80? Because I feel like that's an unusual bet. That's something me and you do, but that might not be the typical bet that most people make.
Yeah, most people in that situation, I think they would have bet more just because they want to... They're almost scared that their opponent might draw out on them. I'm not scared. I put him on a pocket pair. I think he has 2 outs. I want all his money. So when I went to $80, I just thought it puts him in a situation that he almost doesn't know what to do again. Just like my re-raise of 45 more pre-flop. It's like, how can he just call 80? So he didn't. He went all in, which I loved. Like I said, if he had jacks, so be it. He's going to take my money. Well, he had ace-king.
It was ace-king offsuit, and it was a rainbow board, jack 10-5.
Yeah, it was jack 10-5. So he had a gut shot and 2 overcards. He thought I was probably just messing around. Probably thought that he had more. He thought he had way more outs than he actually had. For the most part, he has 4 outs unless he catches runner. So he shoves all in. I call. The board runs out. King hits the turn. I think, wow, if he has kings, maybe I did just lose. He flips over ace-king. I'm very, very shocked. Win the hand. Take down a nice sized pot. And I feel like he was just slightly tricked every way along the hand. I just felt like I tried to make him make weird but tough decisions every time. And calling 45 makes sense with ace-king. Flop comes out king, jack 10, rainbow. You have ace-king. A lot of times, that is a good spot to put a lot of money in the pot, except for when your opponent re-raises you to 80 pre-flop. Because what is he doing that with? I'm obviously not bluffing. I'm not doing it with a 6-7 hand, a pocket 8 hand. So he never has the amount of outs that he thinks he has. He has to put me. Even if he puts me on queens, I mean, that's probably his best case scenario. Since he has ace-king, he has 2 blockers to aces or kings. Maybe he puts me on queens and says, jack 10, he has 2 overs and his gut shot. But if he puts me on queen, he only has 2 cards to his gut shot. Then he's dodging the river, the board pairing for me to get a full house. So again, I think he would just made the wrong decision every step of the way.
And so before everyone sees the video that I made from the villain's point of view, What do you think his correct play should have been when you actually bet the $80, considering you guys both only had 160 in your stacks?
Yeah, so when I raised 14, he re-raised to 35. I go to 80. He's looking down at ace-king. He has to be slightly nervous. I could have aces or kings. I also could have queens. I could also have ace-king myself. Other than that, I mean, even though I look like a crazy aggressive player, I'm never making that play with anything else but those hands. So, with that being said, his best play is probably to fold. But he doesn't play with me enough to know that. He looks at me as a crazy player. So, I would think his best play at this point probably would have been to call the extra 45 to see a flop with ace-king.
Yeah, and then the board comes out, Jack 10-5, rainbow.
The board comes Jack 10-5, rainbow. It sucks. It really sucks for him. But he has to think he does not have the outs that he thinks. Like, even if he could have those amount of outs, realistically, some of them have to be dead. You don't know which ones are dead, but you don't have all those outs. When I come out betting 80 in a 1-2 game against somebody that you have to look at as a decent player, if nothing else. He may not think I'm a great player, but he has to think I'm at least a decent player. At that point, it sucks. I think you just muck the hand.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're hoping to do. I mean, I know you look at the pot and you say, okay, well, you know, maybe I'm getting 2-1 if I shove all in. Seems like the right play, but how often do I have aces, kings in that situation?
And he's not really getting 2-1. He's putting in 160, or he'll have to eventually put in 160 to win your 160 plus the 160 in the pot. So actually, I take that back. It is 2-1.
But
ignore me.
yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation, and I think I made it a tough situation by my bet sizing pre-flop.
I think that was a perfect bet size pre-flop, and I think that was the also perfect bet size on the flop.
Yeah, a lot of people
again.
would have probably come out with 160 in the pot and bet something like $100 or 120 on the flop, and then it's just so much that it really doesn't put any doubt in his mind, and it's much easier for him to fold than when I come out with the same bet that I did pre-flop, and it looks so tiny because, you know, he put in 80, I put in 80, I'm only betting 80, you know, even though it's half pot, it seems smaller because it was the same bet as pre-flop.
And I like that. Even though you played the hand what I would consider correctly, you also gave your opponent a chance to make his own mistake.
Yeah, the mistake I was looking for was pre-flop. I really thought, because I went to 80, 45 more, if he had kings or queens, there's no way he's just calling 45 more. It just seems ridiculous. But ace-king, I think calling is the right play. His mistake is probably on the flop. He just didn't know what to do, and he said, fuck it, I'm all in.
I think so. I think you're right.
So anyway, our next video will be a recap of the entire session. That was my only exciting hand of the day, so I won't be recapping any other hands. That's about it.